Hello, guys and gals, and welcome. So we've heard about season six. Season six is coming on February 22nd. Yes, February 22nd. And on February 22nd, we'll be starting a new season. And maybe you've always wondered a very evil thought: how can I kill my best friend? Hmm. Well, I might have a solution for you. Being able to kill your best friend, after all, is, well, very fun indeed. And I have a way that harkens back to the good old days of Iron Maiden and Chaos Sanctuary. A way that you can kill your friends and yourself as well without ever having to go hostile. Yes, follow me as we explore the deep, dark depths of depravity. Killing your friends for no other reason than because it's fun. How do you kill your friends, you might ask? Well, it's actually quite simple. First off, you need thorns. That is step number one. Without thorns, you're not going to be able to kill anything. Thorns is, well, that's pretty easy to get your hands on, and if you get a decent amount of equipment, you can very easily provide yourself with thorns. The other thing you need, which is another interesting little tidbit, is you need to get yourself conversion or mind blast, one or the other. Now, the trick to this involves dealing with the aura being applied to a monster that is no longer your friend. And in doing so, creates a situation where you can actually apply thorns to your friends. So, step number one is to find a nice set of monsters. Of course, you have to be playing with your friends, and you need to be completely unsuspecting of this. You don't want to let them know. You don't want to let them know on the secret. Step number two is to convert a monster. Upon converting a monster, what will happen is the monster will then be applied with your thorns. During this time period, the monster now has access to your auras. And for a very brief period of time after, the monster converts back to your side, or sorry, to the enemy's side. It will maintain the aura very briefly. And during this time period, if anyone hits the monster, when the monster converts back after the Thorns aura is still applied to the target, they will kill themselves on the Thorns aura. This can also work potentially with Iron Maiden as well, and it's really just a matter of timing, not necessarily a matter of skill. Uh, in most situations, whenever you are fighting a monster who is highly physical in nature, like for instance, if you're a player like a barbarian, a paladin, a druid, this trick won't unfortunately work on, say, a sorceress who's using mainly spells, or a necromancer who is using, mainly summons and things like that. But it will work surprisingly well on any melee character. And let's see if I can get it to work on me. So, first step is to convert the monster, apply the thorns to the monster, and then once the monster converts back, you basically hit them almost instantaneously upon converting back, which allows the thorns to activate on the player. Notice how much damage I just took there? This is with a elemental damage ability, not a physical damage ability. This is an ability that literally only does like 1/4 physical and 75% elemental, and I literally almost one-shot myself with a garbage tier weapon in hell difficulty. You can straight up one-shot yourself with this. I've done it multiple times, depending on the damage of your ability, depending on whether you're one-handed or two-handed, depending on whether you have enhanced damage, like for instance fanaticism, concentration, might aura, things like that. In fact, you can even make this happen even easier by running might aura and thorns together. So like if you had a Merc that was running Might Aura and then you ran Thorns natively and then you converted the monsters, you could up the percentage of return by increasing the Thorns, and you could up their physical damage by increasing their physical damage, which in turn would also make sure that they get one shot. This also does not technically count as PvP, which means that it does not get applied the PvP penalty. So the Thorns actually applies full damage back to the player, which is almost always an instantaneous KO if they manage to hit the monster while the Thorns is still active. Now, the time frame at which you have to hit the Thorns is relatively small. If we take a look at some of the monsters, let me go ahead and grab like some basic monsters from, say, Bloodmore, just as an example, because it's easier for me. This is a low-level character. He's only level 72, and he's very poorly equipped. So if we convert a bunch of monsters here, let's go ahead and convert a pack of these guys. Of course, ow. Sometimes the conversion fails. It's unfortunate. Amplify damage will also increase the effects as well if it's on the player. So if the player is amped, if the monster is Thorns, and then if you also supply them with fanaticism, might, concentration, things like that, you can also accelerate the problem. But you see how when the monster converts back, there's a very brief period of time where the monster is still under the effect of the Thorns aura. So let's go ahead and see if we can wait for this one. You've got about, what, 15 seconds? I think it's 16 seconds. And then they deconvert back. And as soon as they deconvert back, we have our opening. And almost killed myself there. That was pretty close. It's pretty difficult with this particular ability just simply because I'm doing mainly elemental damage. Let's use something like Zeal, just to really get a laugh out of it. Ah, he converted back a little bit too quickly. Now, this works much better when, obviously, you have better equipment. So the better your equipment, the more damage you do. The more damage you're doing, the worse this effect becomes. And on higher level characters where the equipment is at its best, you are more likely to kill yourself. As you can clearly see there, I managed to apply Thorns to myself quite a few times through Zeal, and much like back in the days of freaking Chaos Sanctuary and Iron Maiden, I was unable to stop myself until it was too late, and I ended up killing myself. Although I think technically the zombie got the last hit there, but I still managed to dish out a pretty significant amount of damage to myself through Thorns. Now, the higher level the Thorns, obviously, is a big boon. So higher Thorns means that this is going to work even better. Conversion is something that you're going to have to be using on a regular basis because the random convergence of events of the melee character hitting the target when it deconverts at the point when the Thorns activates is a little bit tricky to time. So it's actually just better if you're using conversion pretty much all of the time rather than using conversion only some of the time. Basically, make sure that you're converting at least 1 or 2 monsters per pack, and you have Thorns up. This means that every single monster, when it deconverts, will immediately have Thorns during that 1 to 2 second period when it deconverts, thus enabling many, many opportunities for your melee characters in your group to potentially hit the Thorns aura and kill themselves. And trust me, kill themselves they will. Depending on how much damage they do, it can range from a 1 to 2 shot, 3 shot, or just honestly like so ridiculously high damage that it will absolutely dwarf their HP, and there's nothing that they can do about it, no matter how much damage reduction they have. Because, number one, they can't block it. It is, unfortunately, a hit on their part. So if they land the hit, the reflection happens no matter what. And then on top of that, we also have the fact that, well, they can't block it, and there's no PvP penalty on it either, so it's a rather large percentage return. And I've played around with this on a couple different characters. One of the characters that I played around with this on was a full-on Vengeance Paladin with the Breath of the Dying Spear, and I was able to one-shot myself even with Vengeance and the Breath of the Dying. Pretty much any character that's physical damage is going to one-shot themselves. Obviously Berserk Barbarians won't because that's magical damage, but Frenzy, Whirlwind, Especially whirlwinds. Oh, the evil. It's so evil. Don't tell your friends, okay? Don't tell your friends about this because you're going to want to kill them when Season 6 starts. I want to see many PKs. I want to see all the PKs. You guys need to do me justice. I didn't get these horns. I didn't get these horns for nothing, okay? These horns were made on the deaths of other players. Yes. Demons. Get out there. Get out there and kill and maim and murder in the name of Diablo.